This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 164, 8 Frugal Tips for Legal Matters by Andrew Flushy with Leo Babauta of ZenHabits.net.
Get ready to maximize your potential with Optimal Finance Daily, the podcast that brings you the best content in personal finance 5 days a week. Your optimal life awaits. Now here's your host, Dan Warren.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another installment of Optimal Finance Daily. So glad you could be with us, as always, for this Thursday edition. This podcast, of course, is where I read to you from some of the very best personal finance blogs anywhere. And today's post comes courtesy of ZenHabits.net. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, once again, I'm so happy to report that this episode is being sponsored by FreshBooks. They've made creating and sending invoices a breeze, along with many other features for small business owners and freelancers. Get your free month at freshbooks.com/finance and enter Optimal Finance Daily in the How Did You Hear About Us section. And today is the last day to sign up for our mailing list if you want to be part of a special event. We're going to give you some special instructions on how to participate in a drawing to get the popular book, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. So make sure you're on our email list over at oldpodcast.com by today if you want to take part in that. Plus, you'll possibly have an impact on what gets read here in the show on the future, so we'd really appreciate your involvement there. I'll mention some more details about this at the end of the show. For now, let's jump right into today's content and start optimizing your life. 8 Frugal Tips for Legal Matters by Andrew Flushy with Leo Babauta of ZenHabits.net. The good lawyer is not the man who has an eye to every side and angle of contingency and qualifies all his qualifications, but who throws himself on your part so heartily that he can get you out of a scrape. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I recently was asked some questions from readers about legal matters, especially when it comes to trying to deal with legal matters while living on a budget. As these things are a bit beyond my level of expertise, I turned to a friend, Andrew Flushy, a lawyer in Virginia who has done some excellent work for me in some of my online ventures. In addition to being a good lawyer, he's a great guy and someone I trust, and intelligent to boot. I asked him for some frugal tips for people dealing with legal matters, and what follows are some of his suggestions and thoughts in his own words. 1. Do you need a lawyer? Before you do anything, ask yourself this question. Is a lawyer necessary? The best way to save money on legal expenses might be to keep lawyers out of the equation. This definitely isn't right for every legal matter, but it could be right for yours. If there is very little money at stake, hiring a lawyer may not be cost-effective. You might be better off trying to resolve the matter yourself. Sometimes a polite phone call or a letter can go a long way. Even if the issue is significant, helping yourself might be an option. A variety of good do-it-yourself legal handbooks exist, such as those by Nolo Press. Your local library will probably have similar books ready to check out. 2. Go to small claims court. Small claims court exists for a reason. It helps people have their day in court to resolve small disputes. The precise rules and requirements vary by jurisdiction, but it can be a cheap option to litigate a monetary claim. You can generally pursue amounts up to a few $1,000s in small claims court. The filing fees are usually a small amount. You typically do not hire a lawyer in these cases. You pursue the case on your own. 3. Buy unbundled services. Perhaps you need a lawyer for part of a matter, but you can handle some things on your own. Unbundled legal services could be the frugal solution. This innovation breaks down legal services into discrete parts, letting clients purchase only what they need. Under this model, you could hire an attorney to just give advice on a certain situation, or you could hire someone to review contracts for you. Unbundled services can be a win-win deal for clients and lawyers. The client gets exactly the needed services and only has to pay a minimum amount, and the lawyer can work on discrete matters for a variety of interesting clients. 4. Educate yourself. Regardless of the legal option you choose, you need to educate yourself. Even if you hire an attorney for all your legal needs, you should make sure you understand what's going on. One simple thing you can learn is legal terminology. Your attorney should be able to speak to you in plain English, but there are still legal terms involved. If you take the time to find definitions for things, you save your attorney's time in explaining them to you. In most arrangements, saving time for your attorney saves you money. 5. Provide all the details. After you've decided to hire a lawyer, you have to communicate with him. To help your lawyer work as efficiently and cheaply as possible, get all your details together. If you're prepared to answer the lawyer's questions, you can make the most of any meetings you have. In today's computer age, it's easy to keep records and documents handy. You could just create a Google Doc of information about your case. When something happens or a memory resurfaces, make a note of it. You could share this doc with your attorney through Google or just email it to him. 6. Group your questions. If your attorney is billing by the hour, you want to minimize the time he has to spend on your matter. Most attorneys bill in 6-minute increments, so even a quick phone call to your attorney will cost 1/10 of an hour, possibly $25. This doesn't mean you shouldn't contact your attorney, but you should be efficient in that contact. Don't call your attorney 5 times during the day. Make a list of things you'd like to talk about and call once. The same applies to email. 7. Ask for alternative billing. Lawyers don't have to bill by the hour all the time. In fact, many lawyers are using different billing methods precisely to lower the cost of legal services. If you want to lower your attorney's fees, ask about alternate billing arrangements. Contingency fees are a popular method of billing in cases like personal injuries. You pay your attorney a percentage of the amount you recover. Attorneys use flat rate billing when the amount and nature of work is predictable. If you have a routine traffic court matter, a flat rate might make your cost easy to foresee. Flat rates can also help you get a simple will drafted and signed. 8. Stay focused on the goal. A wise business attorney told me that the client is truly in trouble when they're fighting for the principle of the matter. If you're fighting for principles, your costs will likely skyrocket. That doesn't mean you shouldn't stand up for your beliefs, but sometimes fighting in the legal arena can be a bad business decision. The same rationale applies to people who want to harass people through the courts. An unscrupulous attorney might help you, but it will likely be expensive. Do you think an attorney who will simply harass your adversary will turn around and bill you fairly? Always keep your focus on the end goal and make sure your attorney knows that goal as well. Ask yourself how certain decisions might affect reaching that goal. If you get off course, talk it over with your attorney and get back on track. You'll save money in the end. You just listened to the post titled 8 Frugal Tips for Legal Matters by Andrew Flushy with Leo Babauta of ZenHabits.net. And big thanks to our sponsor, FreshBooks, for helping to keep this podcast going. FreshBooks has an excellent, nice, clean app that makes expense tracking incredibly easy. You can even snap pictures of your receipts and have them organized for you. Not only can you do that, but FreshBooks will also break down your expenses into reports by date and category. And if you don't want to bother with receipts at all, you can simply enter transactions. Just fill in the date, category, which they've already created for you, so it's super easy, the amount and who you paid, and you're all set. Typically, financial apps are a pain to use and difficult to figure out, or you can't export the information. But try FreshBooks, and you'll see how easy it is to get started. No tutorial necessary. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. FreshBooks does a lot more for small businesses and freelancers. So come by freshbooks.com/finance and check it out. You don't need a credit card to get started, and you can try all these features out free for a month. So again, visit freshbooks.com/finance and enter Optimal Finance Daily in the How Did You Hear About Us section. And like I mentioned at the top of the show, we're going to be giving away a free copy of Tim Ferriss's very popular, very well-reviewed book, The 4-Hour Workweek. And that's going out to a random person who helps us with a small matter. We're trying to get Tim Ferriss's attention on Twitter so we can possibly get permission to read his blog here on Optimal Finance Daily. Now, this is all happening tomorrow, so make sure that you're on our mailing list today if you want to take part. It's going to be really simple to help us out, and for now, you can just join our email list at oldpodcast.com or text the word financial to the number 44222. Then tomorrow, when you're signed up, you'll get an email from us with simple instructions on how to tweet Tim and us together, and that'll put you into that small drawing to win Tim's book. Not only that, but if he says yes, we'll all benefit from getting to hear his content, which would be terrific. And I'm going to leave it at that for today. I'll see you in the Friday show tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, will start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.